Well, morning. It is an absolutely beautiful day. There is literally not a cloud in the sky. It's actually quite cold though, because it's still, I guess it's still only late March. But I'm off to test ride a Yamaha Super tenere, which I've managed to arrange through Yamaha UK. He actually managed to find me one, because it's not been easy to find a dealer that has one available for test rides. It's quite it seems to be quite easy to find one that will sell you a bike. There's a lot sat in dealers around the country, but there is not very many that you can actually ride. So the nearest one is Farnborough, and I'm in Kingston, so off I go to Farnborough. It's probably also worth saying that the country is in lockdown. Well, not really in lockdown. I mean, we're all meant to be avoiding going out, but I'm going to have the minimum amount of contact with anybody doing this, because all I've really got to do is pick the keys up and then go for another ride and then drop the keys off. So, and also motorcycling, really, we don't really come into contact with anybody much. I'm not going to be going to one of the usual biker spots to have a cup of tea, because that would be silly. I've got my little standy cup in the back there with a good coffee in it that I made this morning ready, so I will definitely have a cup of coffee. I'm sat by the side of the road on my own somewhere, and that'll be about it. Anyway, I'll get in touch later. Let's see what this tenere is like. Well, hello. So this is a Yamaha Super tenere, and I'm sat on the M3 on cruise control, which is rather nice to have. So first thoughts are, my body is not getting a great deal of air on it, which is good. My knees are not either, which is a surprise, because I thought they would get more. They get a little bit, but they're not, if they're tucked in, they're not too bad. Let's just cancel the cruise for a minute, turn it off, because I'm going off here. The hands, on the other hand, are getting a lot of air, and so is my face. So I think long term I would need either bigger hand guards or better gloves. And I'm not used to the air going up my sleeves, because you really don't get any air on you at all on the BMW. Obviously you get quite a lot more on the Harley, but I don't tend to do long distances on the Harley. My feet feel very, very out of the air as well, which is good news. It's not lightning quick, but it's got a decent amount of poke, it has to be said. I mean, yeah, it feels pretty good, actually. You're going to need heated grips on this bike, because it does seem to be a little bit... The brakes, actually, I think are very good, actually. It does seem to throw a lot of air at your hands, but I guess that is just the way these things are. What gear am I in? Second. It certainly has a nut. I mean, you couldn't... I'm not really used to stuff that rips your arms off. Now this has got a lot of poke, it has to be said. Even if you're in technically the wrong gear, it's got a lot of poke. Brakes are pretty good. I'd say the front is not as good as the back, in actual fact, which is a bit of a surprise. But, you know, you don't seem to have to kind of shift your weight around a lot. There we go. Doesn't really do a great deal shifting your weight around. Back brake is very good. Front brake is I'd say adequate rather than brilliant. But actually what I'm much more likely to do on this bike is what I was doing when I turned the camera on, which is sitting on the motorway with the cruise on. And in that way, I think it's pretty good. It just lets a bit more air to you than I'd like. But this hasn't got the deflector kit on, and it hasn't got any kind of muffs or, you know, that sort of, I think probably if you're going a very long way you'd stick the hand muffs on it. But actually, I mean, I've only been riding in touring, and in touring is pretty good, really. Not sure what this eco mode is. Let's turn that back on. Yeah, eco mode. Right, I'm going to stop for a bit and see. I might switch to the iPhone and have a little look round her. Right, so here's the tenere. Let's have a little look round her. So she's quite a good looking thing. It's not ridiculously tall, actually. I would imagine it would be taller than it is, and I'm not the tallest guy in the world, so I'm getting my feet down all right. It's got upside downies, which is a bit of a shame, because of course if the seal goes, all the oil's going to fall everywhere. And this is obviously just a standard bike. The main reason for wanting one of these, it's got a trade plate on it, is the shaft drive. And for me, it's this button, because that's the cruise control. But, you know, it's a nice bit of kit, actually. I'm just surprised how much air I get on my face and on my hands. My hands are really cold. No heated grips on this demo bike. Anyway, back to the head cam. Okay, test ride part 2. The twisty stuff. It's not bad, the acceleration. I just leaned on the throttle there slightly, but acceleration isn't bad. I'm only in 5th, let's get up to 6th. You know, I'm in eco mode. So you can only change mode on a closed throttle, apparently. Oh yeah, that does kind of feel a bit different. Yeah, a bit different. Wish the bloody air wasn't going up my arms so much. Anyway, I'm in 6th, I'm cruising along. Just relax and enjoy it a bit. So this is not a terribly twisty bit of road, but well, what about stand up? Yeah, it does feel pretty good standing up. You grip with your knees. Yep. It's pretty comfortable standing up, has to be said. It feels pretty comfortable standing up. sure what the fuck she was doing. Right, well that's kind of... I mean, there wasn't much twisty stuff there, was there? But never mind. This is really very easy to ride. I mean, I know I've got quite a lot of experience on two wheels, but it really is very easy to ride. I mean, I've not been on it long, and yeah, it's really very good. Feel very comfortable on it already. So, got 82 miles left. I think when you're rough with it, you really get through the fuel. But I think if you kept it trickling along in eco, especially with the cruise on, okay, it works at a fairly low speed, which is nice. Yep, no need to put the old feet down there, which is good. That gear indicator is really slazy. Like, it doesn't really tell you very much at all, very often. But there we go. Well, then all of a sudden we've got 120 miles of range again, because we're doing 30 miles an hour. Yeah, it's interesting. It's just a boost past a couple of these guys here. Engine braking, there isn't a great deal of engine braking. Oh, quite sure where you're going, buddy. Nice. It's really easy. It's really easy to ride, isn't it? It's really super easy to ride. Front brakes are not the best. Back brake is awesome. Front brake not so great. Both together, I mean, fine. Fine, really, I mean. Need to do that, did I? Just nip down the outside here. So this is third, let's get into second. Oh, fucking morons. what, fourth? That's alright, fourth's okay. Definitely make some progress on this, that's for sure. Really a problem. Fourth's alright. There we go. Come on, girl. Around we go. Power on. Well, I'm getting near the end of my test ride, and I am quite sorry. I have to say, when this is in eco and it's on cruise, let's just put it back on cruise a second. Like that. It's saying 53 miles per gallon as an average, and instant it's saying 72, which I don't believe for a minute. But even if it was 55, that's pretty good. And grinding along under cruise control on the motorway is what I do quite a lot, actually. I think I could get to like this bike. It's definitely colder. It's definitely colder than the Beamer. It's probably a bit colder than the Electroglide in actual fact, except the Electroglide throws all the air in my face because of the tiny screen I've got on it, really, because it looks cool. It's really well balanced.